Welcome to Adventures of the Cooks. We're on another adventure, and today we're at Yosemite National Park. Here's Josh, the driver, and as his illustrious co-pilot, me, Jasmine. We're so excited to take you around and show you what we did. Wait, Josh wants to tell you something. Say what you need to say, Josh.
So, Yosemite tip of the day. If you drive in from the 395 side, so if you're coming from Reno, you're going to have a very long drive into the center of the park to get to the major attractions like El Capitan, Half Dome, those campsites that are around there. So just be cognizant of that. Right now, we have 40 miles of driving until we turn close to our campground. So, be cognizant if you come from the other side. Insert whatever highway that is. It's a shorter drive into the park, but this is up there with driving into like Joshua Tree and Arches and Canyonlands. Long drives into the park to Visitor Center.
This is a really long one, though.
Yes.
This is like, I think, the most, other than like having to take a boat to Channel Islands, this is like the longest to get to the park.
Yeah.
We were actually planning to come into Yosemite and Tioga Pass at night, and we're gonna get to see any of these views. So we're glad that we actually stayed on some BLM lands the night before and then drove into Yosemite with the daylight.
Yosemite National Park was established in October of 1890 after John Muir and other conservationists spoke to the powers that be to preserve it, just like Yellowstone had done prior in 1880. Things that you'll find are Half Dome, El Capitan, Tulum Meadows, and a wide range of activities that you can do throughout those parts of the park, including hiking, climbing, and camping.
Yosemite is actually our 11th national park together, and we've made it a cook tradition to go. The first thing that we do when we get into a national park is go straight to the visitor center and get a stamp on our passport books. One is actually the one that they sell there at the national parks, and this other one, we did get it at Channel Islands, but we don't always see it everywhere we go.
So as we said earlier, one of the attractions is El Capitan, which has brought in numerous climbers from around the world over many decades to climb and establish numerous different routes of it, and gained a lot of notoriety recently with the movie of Free Solo, documenting the climbers' climb of El Capitan without any assistance. And it's tough to miss. It's one of the first things you'll see when you come into the valley. With completion of our stamps at the visitor center, we went and grabbed lunch at the Loft at Dugan's, which is a little deli-type cafe. It's great for a quick bite.
After finishing lunch, we headed over to our campground to plan our next 24 hours. We were at Site 14, which was pretty leveled for the most part. Some of the sites weren't as leveled. Our bathroom was literally behind our vehicle. It was very close. You are equipped with a picnic table, a fireplace, and a bear box, which we highly recommend that you utilize the bear box and don't leave food in your vehicle. So for sunset, we headed out to Sentinel Bridge, where you kind of get this awesome reflective view of the Half Dome. I will say this spot gets very crowded, and there's a lot of people who kind of like space hog, but it's fine. It's a pretty busy spot. You can take pictures back there where that person with the white shirt is, and there's a parking lot behind Josh's head right there. You can also come down to this other spot, which is not very far at all. Like, we literally did both within that time span. It was lit up a little bit more than it's showing here, But this is another good spot for sunset to see the half dome get lit up by the sun. After sunset, we headed back to our campground where we made some burgers and had a delicious dinner together with some beers and watched Andor. The next morning, we woke up bright and early to go watch sunrise at Tunnel View. Our day today was really planned out basically on what made the most sense of us actually doing and visiting. So for 2022, Glacier Point Road was closed. So that knocked out a bunch of stuff that we had on our list of what we wanted to do. So we will be back in Yosemite. That is not a problem. Also, when you travel to Yosemite in the fall, you kind of get this, right? There's not as much water as you might see in the spring. So certain waterfalls or Mirror Lake, for example, didn't make sense on us going to see because there was no water in Mirror Lake. So we actually had overheard a park ranger saying how Vernal Falls has water. So we're like, okay. So we went up on the trek to Vernal Falls. So we actually only went up to Vernal Falls footbridge. That trail is considered moderate on all trails, 1.7 miles with 472 feet elevation gain out and back. It does tire you out. It is a climb upward, but we only could come up to this point and then we had to turn around and get going. Making our classic PBJs, even though they didn't have the PBJ we usually get. So I guess this vehicle is getting PBJ. We got the roofless on deck. Roof rack power. I definitely will say one of the convenience of having the camper van is we were able to just pull into the parking lot at the visitor center and have lunch and get Wi-Fi, so it was convenient. But after lunch, we headed out to Mariposa Grove.
So the drive from Yosemite Valley down to Mariposa Grove is about 45 minutes, and you'll go in and out of these burnt areas that were wildfires from the past. Once you get to Mariposa Grove, you're going to take a shuttle up to the actual grove. It's free and it runs pretty frequently. Mariposa Grove is home to over 500 sequoia trees that can grow up to over 200 feet tall and are thousands of years old. They are on the ancestral grounds of the Miwok Nation, an indigenous tribe to the area. This is the grizzly giant, the tallest and thickest sequoia tree in the park at 209 feet tall with a diameter of almost 90 feet around.
Stay there. Hold on, stay there. That's what I said. I was like, she's crunchy. We finished at Mariposa Grove, and that kind of ended our time in Yosemite. After that, we had a quick turnaround to go find a national park sign because we failed to take a picture when we first saw the sign. So our new rule we've added to our national park adventures is that when you see a sign, take a picture of the sign because you never know when you're gonna get a chance to see it again. So we did that and we called it a night because we started heading towards our final destination of Lake Tahoe.
Now come on, Chief. He says he can't stay long. What's he want with you? Said
that
Ron,
bugger.
looking unnerved as Mrs. Weasley withdrew from the room. You haven't done anything, have you? No,
The
said Harry indignantly.
epitome of Josh.
To think what he could have done that would make Snape
Well, he's
assume
poking
the
his
Grimmauld
nose.
place. And is that...